All right. Good thing I checked. I felt that internet hiccup was a bit too
I'm
much.
waiting for the stream to go into play on the other side.
Okay, it's going.
Oh, you're checking it right now? It's going? Sorry about that. Apparently there was a little hiccup in the internet. Apparently. King was
And
able
that's
to
why I'm here to tell them if something goes wrong,
That
guys.
was weird. So you said that it hiccuped after you said the Primate Research. Okay, Primate Research Center in China. Okay, so we're still on this section. Okay. He had carefully reviewed all this work, including the executive director of both institutions. Normally, the executive directors don't. So, pretty much, this is just all about how the directors really don't get involved in these types of checkups between this. But this was also between the United States and China, which is what we're about to get into next, which is kind of weird to think about, actually. That is very weird to think about.
Who is China, though? Always.
I don't know why. I mean, well, because like, look at this next section.
Well,
Some
they
articles,
are smart.
Well, and evil. I mean, oh, they're such nice
Oh,
people.
they're smart.
I'm joking.
You know they got better education than there.
It's a joke.
Good job, guys. You guys got good skill, but loosen up a bit.
Yeah. They need to loosen up a little bit, indeed. But we also need to loosen up a bit as well, because America can be a bit of a hard ass.
We gotta smarten up a bit.
Well, yeah, we gotta get smarter. Okay, so some articles seem to imply that because this is a joint project between America and Chinese research, it was taken advantage of the less stringent Chinese regulations regarding this type of research. From what you've said, it seems like that's not the case. This is about to get dicey. Great.
Oh boy.
Yes, there's a very good reason why the American team wanted to collaborate with this group in China. One, they have the facilities and the expertise to deal with monkeys where you have to remove certain excrements for the assistance reproductive research like IVF. There are few facilities that have enough monkeys and the right conditions for their care. They are few and far between in the US, but probably more important, the reason why they wanted to collaborate with the Chinese was that there is a research there who was able to culture monkey embryos for 20 days. What?
Means he had the cells growing in the petri dish for 20 days.
Oh. Sorry, my mind. Ignore me. Okay, longer than anyone has ever done before. So they needed this help. That expertise didn't exist in the United States. So it wasn't a case of trying to skirt any rules. These rules are international, so they can't really escape them by going to another country. That's, when it's international rules, it's international rules.
Until you go to international waters, and then there is no rules.
Yeah, isn't that a freaking... Or if you go to Antarctica. I mean, what? What? It's true. You go to the Arctic sections, those are the most neutral areas in the world. God knows what's really even down there. Atlantis? I mean, what?
Oh, bonk. Riff.
The fuck? The... Dude. Wait, what? King, am I still live?
Yes. Kinda.
Hell, that was weird. You actually booped into me, and then everything just kind of did the old freaking box notion. I think it's something with your avatar, dude. Okay. From what you've said, the idea is not to create a human-monkey hybrid, but to better understand how the cells of different species communicate with each other, and then using that knowledge to make, for example, the experiments that have been done with pigs work. That's creepy. That's very creepy. That's correct. Just to clarify the terminology, some people have been calling these hybrids, but they are not hybrids because hybrids would be a 50-50 split of two species by uniting the sperm and the egg of two different species. These technically create what are called chimeras. Chimeras?
Chimeras. Isn't that
Yeah.
the damn same thing from that show?
Which show?
The one behind you.
Those are called homunculus.
They also had chimeras in the show.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Come
Okay.
on. The dude did it to his doctor, the dog. That was the city anime.
Jackass.
That was a chimera.
You had to put that in my mind. I'm gonna cry now. Fuck. Okay,
Don't worry.
moving on.
Dark took care of it. Splat.
Shut up. Okay, that are far from 50-50. That just transformed a few human cells into another animal and hoping that these cells will integrate. And of course, depending on how many cells you transfer, you'll get very percentages of human contributions. They're not talking closely to anything like a 50-50 in case of the monkey embryos in the research. They get up to a maximum of 7% human cells and contributing to the embryos. I don't know if I trust that. That just sounds just too cliche. They only go to this X number amount is what we say. How do we know it's not a 50-50? How do we know that they're not trying to actually do this? That's a good question. I always love asking questions like that. How do we know that somebody doesn't have a just tail by some means because of that? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay, this story has attracted a lot of interesting because of the sci-fi movie scenario aspect of this. Henceforth of the Planet of the Apes, the Island of Dr. Moriu, etc. But from what was said in reality is far from that. Are you sure about that? Because we can't always take one person's word under certain aspects. Sometimes it's more than we see. That's what makes it a great news story, because people are so interested in it and wondering, why are they doing this? That is a really good question. And then they realize that there is actually a humanitarian angle. My gosh, humanitarian angle to this. Everybody knows somebody who suffers from some kind of organ failure. It's
True.
But moving on. As there are issues of experiments or primates versus other animals such as pigs and rats are different ethic concerns raised when it comes to primate research versus research on other animals. Are there different regulations and guidelines depending on what kind of animals you are using in the research? That is actually a really good question. I've actually wondered this question. Let's see what this person says, even though I'm sure
Never see him experiment on a lizard. Yes, me.
I gotta show you something after this.
What, the snake they made have robot legs?
No, but I didn't know that. That's creepy to think about. Okay. Yes, there are. The more complex the animal species is, the more scientific, justified, and has to be, and the closer scrutiny it deserves. Of course. So monkeys are going to be the highest. Why? Because we're close to them in a certain way, even though technically we are.
Thumbs.
Boo. From of animals you can use in the medical research, and by monkeys we aren't typically talking about apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, etc. What are you talking about? Is it a little bit further away from humans than that? These are all non-human primates with tails. Didn't I make mention of tails a moment ago? Masaku monkeys? Rosias monkeys. These are typical monkeys that, under the right justifications, are used for biomedical research.
Rhesus monkeys, that's what that is. Rhesus monkeys, the little guys. Violent little guys.
The little fuckers that love to steal everybody's shit? Wow. They get
And
those?
bite your fingers off, too.
I'm impressed that they're able to capture those. For scientific research, I'm impressed because those motherfuckers are just mean.
All you gotta do is put a snack in a trap.
No, we cannot use chimpanzees, gorillas, or orangutans, the great apes. We cannot use them for invasive biomedicine research. You can do behavior studies, but you can't do anything invasive that would hurt them. They have protective status, and in some European countries, great apes actually have personhood status. What? Hold on. Wait, what? Some European areas, great apes, like Coco.
That's good. Maybe that's why Harambe didn't get. If Harambe should have been there, he would have not have gotten shot.
We don't talk about that episode. You're gonna make people cry, man. What about fears that a rogue scientist... this is gonna be interesting. What about a rogue scientist might go too far? Good question. There is always that concern of people breaking the rules and going rogue. In this case, what I think for me is of ethical concern is not as much that somehow human dignity has been harmed by crossing the line too far, or that any human being is somehow worse off. It's rather the well-being of the animal that is used itself. I'm more concerned about the welfare of the more intelligent animals used by biomedical research, and if they are used in an unjustification way, then that is the waste of life and brings unnecessarily burden, suffering on the animal. That is a good point. So when I worry about some kind of rogue work, I'm actually more worried about the actual physical treatment of the animal. I mean, that's a good answer, but I'm more... What?
They didn't go through... They said physical treatment of the animal, but if they're using cells, they just completely went over that with a loophole.
So they did. Good point. Wow, that makes you wonder. I'm worried.
Loopholes.
I'm worried about the animal, but then we just justified how we actually go through and do stuff to them. Wow.
Unless you're going to make characters that look like us. I don't think so.
What the fuck, dude?
Come on.
What the... King!
Tell me you see something this walking down the street, you need to look back like that meme. What happens if he would mix a bat with a lizard? Dragon. Come on, we already have Komodo dragons. Add wings to it. Dragon.
A little bit harder than you think. Although there is a way of doing it, but it goes completely against all the guidelines in this whole ruling.
Yes, but it's said about cells, not the animal. Most people, especially scientists, think a cell is a cell and not a thing. Has no rules over this.
Yeah. And we're not getting into that debate. We're on live right now. Anyway, so But I mean, it almost sounds like a coincidence, and a bit more of a conspiracy behind this. To be honest, this is just an article, some random thing I found because I was curious about the monkey hybrid story. Found it, and I think this is a bit more. There's something else
There's
behind
more.
this. There's
Well,
obvious,
there's some motives that are good for this,
but
but
then
there's always
there's
going to be that seedy underlayer that's going to be using it for for things that they're not supposed to. Like always. Like,
exactly. This is a complete freaking. I'm sorry. This is a complete cover up.
nah, it's
Yeah.
they can use the science. They can use the science that was made for bad.
But thank you for another.
Yeah.
Thank you for another day. See you on the next one.